Gaggles, flocks, pods, prides, ostentations, murmurations, parliaments, rumbas. All right, this is getting a little weird, but weird kind of comes with the territory when you're naming groups of animals. And that's what we're talking about on today's 5-Minute Trivia.
We choose to go to the moon.
Right now, you like me.
Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
Hey everyone, welcome to 5-Minute Trivia, where we're making the world smarter 5 minutes at a time. I'm your host, R.M. Zuberi. What do you call several of the same thing? You might call them a group or a bunch or a bundle, or maybe you'll just make something up. Maybe like a throng of things. So when it comes to the animal kingdom, almost every type of animal has its own unique collective identifier. Some you've heard of. Dolphins and whales travel in pods. A family of monkeys is a troop. You find oysters in beds, wolves in packs, and ants in colonies. But if you keep going, things start getting weird, like a flamboyance of flamingos, a parliament of owls, a murder of crows, an unkindness of ravens, or, my favorite, a rookery of albatrosses. Where did these come from? I mean, who watched starlings fly by and decide to call them a murmuration? Well, that's a good question, and we have an answer. So our research team found a book that was published in 1486. It was called the Book of St. Albans, and it seems to have been written by a Benedictine nun named Juliana Berners. Her convent was in St. Albans, which is about 20 miles away from London. And Juliana Berners was a boss. She was a huge sports fan. She was a hunter. She was really into training raptors like hawks and falcons. Like, one thing she did in her book was to rank these raptors into her own royal hierarchy. At the top were eagles, which she gave the rank of emperor. And down at the bottom of this royal ladder were peregrine falcons, which were just earls. She also invented a bunch of the collective terms that we still use, like flock of birds, herd of cows, and pack of dogs. She even invented collective terms for people. Like a group of people playing the harp was a melody of harpers. She also invented blast of hunters and diligence of messengers. Now, I don't think anyone's ever used those, but maybe we should, because blast of hunters is pretty much the most metal thing I have ever heard. Now, there was nothing to any of these names other than her just having fun with stuff. In fact, the whole idea of the Book of St. Albans was that it was sort of a manual for being a gentleman. And part of being a gentleman was getting out in nature and using your dignified intellect and good sense of humor to make up a clever name for an animal. You know, right before grabbing your rifle and blowing it away and then shuffling off to have tea. And this is what the idle leisure class of settled men did back then. That's how we got a conspiracy of lemurs, a mob of kangaroos, a prowl of jaguars. There are obviously no rules for any of this stuff. In fact, some animal groups are known by multiple collective nouns. Personally, I like cackle of hyenas, but they've also been called a clan. If you don't like either, maybe think up something better, like a hee-haw of hyenas. Like, I was thinking about some names on my own, and I came up with a wheel of hamsters, a prickle of hedgehogs, a leap of frogs, an irritation of pigeons. Yeah, you know what, guys? Your boos don't scare me. I've seen what you cheer. Anyway, if you have some ideas of your own, drop us a line on 5minutetrivia.com. That's the number 5minutetrivia, all one word, .com, and I'll share some of your suggestions on a future episode. That's all for today's show. Join us next time, and thanks for listening.